It is unfortunate that this still has to be said in this day and age. You cannot control or choose your sexuality. So lately there's been a lot of recycled arguments coming from the woodworks of the far right. And lately one of their latest offerings is this whole argument of gay conversion therapy, or ex-gay therapy, or reparative therapy. This is a topic I've discussed before in the past, and spoiler alerts, just so you know what you're getting into before you continue watching this video, my opinion on this, on gay conversion therapy, has not changed. But our adversaries on the far right, well, they tend to be a little bit forgetful in the sense of where they think we stand on these issues, so let us remind them exactly where we on the left stand on the issue of gay conversion therapy. Quite a while ago, I posted the following skeet to Bluesky. Ex-Gay Visibility Day? F*** off with that shit. Any organization supporting nonsense like that ought to be locked up for supporting mental trauma. Catholic Church has caused enough damage to the LGBTQ as it is. We have Pride Month because of people like them. That was in response to an article by Joe My God, who was covering a story about the Heritage Foundation wanting an ex-gay Pride Month. Ridiculous. And if you're at least a little bit educated to why Pride exists, why Pride needs to exist, then you will understand just how ridiculous that very concept, that very idea actually is. So 5 months after I posted that skeet, a gay conversion therapy organization pops up into the notifications of my Bluesky, and they have decided to quote share my original skeet. We will introduce ourselves. We lead the world's top organization on ex-gay media and reports. This is discrimination. Have a great week. And then of course they overemphasize the fact that they've got so many followers and supporters on X compared to the tiny, minuscule amount of people who follow them on Bluesky. I guess I just had to throw that in there, and then asking us to check them out on X for more information. I don't think I will, actually. I'm on Bluesky because I don't want to be on X. The fact that you've got a bunch of Nazis supporting you on X isn't really something that is that impressive to me, to be quite honest. But anyway, to address the claims of this group, it is not discrimination to point out that a harmful practice is in fact a harmful practice when it is, spoiler alert, a harmful practice. And honestly, this whole line of, this is discrimination, is obviously so blatantly performative. They're not actually offended. Really, they're not offended. I don't believe for 1 second that there is a slight little glimmer of offense on their part. They're not offended. This is a performative tactic that these groups do to antagonize the LGBTQ, and I am not falling for it. I know what they're doing, I see what they're doing, and I'm calling that BS out. You're not offended. You don't think it's discrimination, you know that it isn't. And by the way, I'm not going to name this group. I refuse to. I refuse to give them any more limelight than they have already achieved and already managed to get. Even with a small YouTube channel like mine, they don't even deserve that much. But a lot of their interactions with others on Bluesky is this whole rhetoric of, oh, we're just trying to open up a dialogue. Bitch, please. I know what you're doing. I have been using the internet long enough to spot shit posting trolling a mile away. I know exactly what you're trying to do. You're trying to antagonize LGBTQ people. There is nothing genuine nor honest about these groups. What they are doing to gay men and women is psychologically damaging. It is unfortunate that this still has to be said in this day and age. You cannot control or choose your sexuality. While there are many who have undergone conversion therapy who will say otherwise, they are either lying, deluded, or heavily indoctrinated. Or perhaps a combination of two or all three of those factors. What you can absolutely choose is dishonesty. You can choose to pretend you are something you are not. You can choose to lie to yourself, but you cannot choose your sexuality. And the other main issue here is, so many people do not actually know, do not actually understand what exactly is involved in gay conversion therapy. Gay conversion therapy is almost entirely Bible-based, or at least a far-right or literalist interpretation of the Bible as the basis of its foundation. So a lot of anti-gay, homophobic interpretations, this idea that being gay is wrong, being gay is broken, yada yada yada. Some very bad takes and misguided conceptions about homosexuality. Many involve a wide range of practices that attempt to change, alter, or suppress sexuality. This has been reported to range from non-consensual and forced sexual acts and other forms of SA, sometimes even referred to as corrective SA, which is very disturbing. Sometimes kidnapping, imprisonment, physical abuse, shock therapy, hormone treatments. These are often referred to as physical conversion therapy. Now, I will be honest and say that most forms of conversion therapy that happen today are not physical forms. There is still quite a lot of evidence supporting the fact that psychotherapy, pastoral counseling within gay conversion therapy can have long-lasting negative psychological effects, such as many participants of these practices experiencing low self-esteem, anxiety, depression, suicidal tendencies, amongst many other psychological side effects. One could argue that conversion therapy can literally ruin a person's life, and in many cases, it has. These practices are so horrific, and their outcomes are so horrific, that you could hardly call it a therapy at all. The aim of clinical therapy is to reduce psychological distress and to maximize psychological well-being. Gay conversion therapy, on the other hand, does the complete opposite. So in that sense, it really isn't a therapy at all. It is a therapy only in name, but not in practice. It is nothing more than a form of torture, as it is psychologically and physically harmful. It aims to suppress the very core of a person's human nature. It is also treating a minority group as prey, and that in of itself is inherently unethical and overall inhumane. Then of course, there have been many cases of those recovering from gay conversion therapy. David Yost, who some of you may remember as the Blue Ranger from the Power Rangers, is one of such examples of such people who have recovered, not very easily, mind you, but who have recovered from gay conversion therapy. Yost tried gay conversion therapy for 2 years, which evidently resulted in him having a nervous breakdown. I put myself through conversion therapy because I didn't want to be gay. And I really struggled and struggled and struggled with it. And unfortunately, I had a nervous breakdown. And I checked into a hospital for 5 weeks and sort of had to start the process of learning to accept myself, which was very difficult. It took me many years after the fact. Those performing these so-called therapies are really causing so much harm on those they are attempting to change.
How do you think the suicide rates for LGBTQ who have undergone conversion therapy is so much higher than those who haven't?
Well, if you're gay or LGBTQ and you come out, you might lose everyone. It's not like someone's telling you, hey, like, you're perfect the way you are, everything's okay. It's like, no, you're not perfect the way you are.
Right.
You have to change. When you're at a dead end, suicide becomes appealing to so many people.
Aside from the harm that these practices cause, their end goal is never actually achieved. There are so many failed attempts of gay conversion therapy, including some of the leaders of these organizations that conduct these practices, such as David Matheson, a former gay therapy practitioner who eventually decided to live his life as a gay man. I continue to support the rights of individuals to choose how they will respond to their sexual attractions and identity. With that freedom, I am now choosing to pursue life as a gay man. Now, while Matheson still pretends that gay conversion therapy is a legitimate thing, despite the fact that it did not work for him, and despite the fact of how much harm he has caused when this was practiced upon others, I'm not sure if that is pure dishonesty, delusion, or both, but clearly it didn't work. We have a sort of similar situation with another gay conversion therapy leader, John Paulk, who was a chairman of the now disbanded organization Exodus International. Only in Paulk's case, he actually totally denounces gay conversion therapy and has issued an apology to all of those who were harmed because of its practices. But I was in denial. It wasn't in fact true, any of it. Worse than being wrong, it was harmful to many people and caused me years of pain in my own life. Which is why I have to say this to the Rick Perrys of the world. You don't understand this issue at all. I know that countless people were harmed by things I said and did in the past. Parents, families, and their loved ones were negatively impacted by the notion of reparative therapy and the message of change. I am truly, truly sorry for the pain I have caused. The bottom line here is that gay conversion therapy puts an emphasis on this ideology that being gay means you are broken, but that simply is not true. Whether you are lesbian, gay, bi, pan, transgender, any part of the LGBTQ, we are not broken. We are exactly who we are supposed to be. I know that is a phrase I say a lot because it is true. We are exactly who we are supposed to be. We have nothing to apologize for merely existing. What is, however, broken is the mindset of a bigot. All bigotry is based on fear, a fear fueled by a lack of understanding and a pure embracement of pure ignorance. What is, however, broken is the mindset of a bigot. All bigotry is based on fear, a fear fueled by a lack of understanding and an embracement of pure ignorance. That's today's video. My name is Keith. You've been watching Keith's Universe. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.